Hi, my name is Jake Mutchler, and I'm going to be talking about my paper, The Impact of the Battle of Kursk on World War II. The Battle of Kursk, fought in July 1943 between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, stands as one of the most decisive turning points in World War II. Not only was it the largest tank battle in history, involving nearly 2 million soldiers and thousands of tanks, but it also marked the moment when Germany permanently lost the ability to take the offensive on the Eastern Front. To understand its importance, we need to look at the context. Just months earlier, Germany had suffered a devastating defeat at the Battle of Stalingrad. That loss weakened German forces significantly, but they still hoped to regain momentum. Their plan, known as Operation Citadel, aimed to surround and destroy Soviet forces positioned in a bulge, or salient, around the city of Kursk. However, the Soviets were not caught off guard. Thanks to effective intelligence and strong leadership from generals like Georgy Zhukov, they knew the German attack was coming. Instead of retreating, they prepared. The Soviets built one of the most extensive defensive systems in military history. Layers of trenches, minefields, anti-tank obstacles, and fortified positions stretching for miles. When the German offensive began, it immediately ran into these defenses. Despite deploying some of their most advanced tanks, including the Tiger and the Panther, German forces struggled to break through. These tanks, while powerful, were mechanically unreliable and difficult to maintain. Combined with the depth of Soviet defenses and the sheer number of Soviet troops, the German advance slowed to a crawl. Another critical issue for Germany was leadership. Adolf Hitler delayed the start of Operation Citadel, hoping to wait for more advanced equipment. But this delay gave the Soviets even more time to strengthen their defenses. By the time the attack began, the element of surprise was completely gone. As the battle dragged on, German losses mounted. They were unable to achieve a decisive breakthrough, and their forces became increasingly exhausted. Meanwhile, the Soviets shifted from defense to offense. After absorbing the initial German attack, they launched a powerful counter-offensive and pushed the German forces backward. This moment marked a major turning point. After the Battle of Kursk, Germany permanently lost the strategic initiative on the Eastern Front. However, before Kursk, even after setbacks, Germany could still launch large-scale offensives and dictate the pace of the war. After Kursk, this was no longer possible. German forces were forced into a defensive position, reacting to Soviet advances rather than controlling them. The consequences were massive. Germany suffered heavy losses in both personnel and losses they could not easily replace. In contrast, the Soviet Union had greater industrial capacity and manpower, allowing them to recover more quickly and continue pushing forward. The psychological impact of the battle was just as important. For Germany, Kursk reinforced the reality that victory in the East was slipping away. For the Soviets, it was a major morale boost. It proved that they could not only stop the German army, but defeat it in large-scale operations. The effects of Kursk extended beyond the Eastern Front. By forcing Germany to commit significant resources to defending against Soviet advances, the battle indirectly helped the Western Allies. When the Allies launched the invasion of Normandy on D-Day in 1944, Germany was already stretched thin. They no longer had the resources to effectively fight the war on two fronts. Additionally, Kursk highlighted important differences in military strategy and technology. While Germany relied on advanced but complex tanks, the Soviets used simpler, more reliable designs such as the T-34. This allowed them to produce tanks in greater numbers and maintain them more effectively in battle. The Soviets also embraced an attrition-style strategy, focusing on wearing down the enemy over time rather than seeking quick, decisive victories. It is important to note that Kursk was not the only factor that led to Germany's defeat. Earlier battles like Stalingrad, along with the industrial strength of the United States and its allies, played major roles. However, Kursk was the moment when Germany lost its final opportunity to regain control of the war in the East. After Kursk, the Soviets maintained constant pressure on German forces, launching a series of offensives that pushed westward across Eastern Europe. This relentless advance eventually led to the fall of Berlin in 1945 and the end of the war in Europe. In conclusion, the Battle of Kursk was far more than just a large and destructive battle. It was the point at which the balance of power shifted permanently in favor of the Soviet Union and the Eastern Front. By ending Germany's offensive capabilities, inflicting heavy losses, and boosting Soviet momentum, Kursk made the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany not just possible, but inevitable. Thank you.